Hello, hello. Hello, glowers. We are ready to light this light. We got so many things to talk about. I know that what we said was that we would on here today. We're going to be talking about this being F Bomb Friday, and we're talking about fitness. But honestly, I gotta be honest. I'm just gonna go ahead and put this out there. It's really hard for me to focus on just the fitness when so much is going on right now. Now, you all know I am into getting snatchy for the weekend. I'm sorry, for the month, excuse me, not for the weekend. So, this is the first weekend of the month. And so, I want to start off this month very strong, of course. But this Andrew Gillum situation and a couple of other situations have kind of, I want to be honest, they're kind of blowing my mind right now. They're kind of blowing my mind. So I'm kind of wondering, uh, I'm kind of wondering if the fast shouldn't just be food, if it should be other things too. So I am opening up the the stream today to discuss that in regards to fast. Should they also include some other things, right? Because what I've technically found is that when you're just focusing on food, it's easier, definitely, and you're not really given um, you're not really giving credence though to the reality of or the importance of um, the other things that you're consuming, what you're watching, what you are uh, viewing, or what's viewing you, as I like to say, or as it can be said. So this is kind of, we're kind of going to open it up a little bit to discuss that and just figure out if it's not just food. Uh, guys, I've been fasting for years, like literally for years. Of course, not consistent. I'm sure my weight would look a whole lot differently if it was consistent. Um, but I've been fasting and using fasting as a method for about 10 years. Hey, Neo, how are you? Hey, hey, hey. Let me put you on here. So, the question of the day, Neo, if you want to join me on the panel, I would love it if you can. Um, I want to talk about should fasting not just be okay. So, this is Get Snatchy September, right? You've probably seen my video. It's getting some great feedback in regards to what I've been talking about with Get Snatchy September. And we're questioning, and a question came up on my on the comments of that question. Hello, 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 Hopi. Hey, put your glowers up, guys. All of my people getting up in here, put your glowers up. All right, perfect. So I've dropped the link, Neo, if you want to join me on the panel. Hope, if you want to join me on the panel, the link is up. This is F Bomb Friday, so I'm throwing it out there. But I'm wondering if fast could consist of more than food. That's where I am right now. I'm wondering if fast should consist of more than just food. Because I got to be very honest, I've been thrown off today with this whole Andrew Gillum situation. As you all know, Andrew Gillum is the former mayor of Tallahassee, Florida, and he ran for governor of Tallahassee, Florida. And I'm sorry, governor of Tallahassee, Florida. He ran for governor of Florida. He has already become mayor. But I went to school. I went to college with both he and his wife. And I've done a video about this in the past, so you all can take a look if you would like to see it. But it came out, no pun intended, that he got arrested in Miami, where I was living at the time. He got arrested in Miami, and he was having, as he was rumored to be having some relations with a man, and from that he they found drugs. They found what they call a complete party pack. That's what they call it. You know, their words, not mine. A complete party pack of drugs, of vodka, alcohol. But I've always said that no live footage came out. So that was always very suspicious to me. So at any rate, even as I'm starting this month off, trying to get my Snatchy self together, I've been distracted by by a couple of kind of gossipy things. So Neo is going to join me on the panel. Hopi, you're totally welcome to join me on the panel as well. So right now I'm going to add Neo to the stream. Hello, brother Neo. How are you?
I'm doing good, working hard, trying to take a little break right now.
Okay, great. So you saw what my question is. I'm wondering, should when we're talking about fasting, because usually people, of course, associate fasting with what you're consuming as far as physically, but should fast also include this month? Should they also include when you're going through a fast what you're watching, what you're doing for entertainment, activities that you're partaking in? Should that also be included?
It definitely should. I believe that a lot of people have a misconception of what the point of a fast is in the first place. So your body doesn't just digest food, and fluids and whatnot. It digests, or you take in different things as well. Your body is a sponge, especially your skin. So you can fast from putting on particular products like
Absolutely.
harmful. Take sunscreen for example. If
Yes.
you're used to continuing to put that on there, you got to remember sunscreen does have metals
Yes.
in in it, so you can be adding metals to your diet, if you will, by applying it to your skin because your body is absorbing it. You know,
Very true. Very true. So we have
you
Hopi joining us on the panel as well.
how you
Hope
doing?
is one of my moderators. Let me unmute her. One moment. All right, go ahead and introduce yourself, Miss Hopi.
Just a second. Hello. No, because I was hearing things twice, and I was like, "What is going
Because
on?" I'm like,
you
"Oh, because
still
my
have
YouTube is still on." Okay, that's the
you,
problem.
yeah, your YouTube is still on.
Oh,
So
okay.
so the question of the hour with the panel today is when we're talking about going on fast,
Mm-hmm.
do fasts, should they only include food and what you're consuming physically? Should it also include what you are eating? I'm sorry, what you're seeing, what you're partaking, what you're doing for entertainment as well?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I did a fast before, like a fast from social media for 40 days.
Yes.
I did one for
Yes.
40 days. Um, I did a fast from television before.
Yes.
Um, like I went so far as to make my phone black and white so that it's not, because you can do that actually. You can make your
Wow.
phone black and white so that
Okay.
it's not as appealing for you to go on there.
All right.
Oh yeah. Like I went on a fast, like I went on I mean, I didn't call it a gossip fast, but at, where I work, I mean, we're all in the same building all the time together every day when we see each other. And so there's always some little chatter going on. Like I went on a fast from that.
And
I
that's
mean,
what brings me back to that
every time I
point.
was around, a lot of people, and I knew that there would be some talk going on. I would be listening to something, like there would be earbuds in my ears. And it's like sometimes you have to do that. Sometimes you have to fast from some things that
I
aren't food,
agree.
because actually food had become easy
Mm,
one time.
Mm.
had become easy. And I was like, oh, well, let me see what other thing that I would, it was easy for me to say, oh, I'm not eating any carbohydrates, or I'm not eating any sweet stuff, which sweet stuff is my thing. But at one point it became easy. And I was like, oh, okay. So
That's,
this doesn't feel like a challenge. So let me
that-
switch this
that's
up.
kind of funny. That's kind of funny that you found a plateau in your fasting.
Because you
No,
because you
that's
can.
common. Yeah, that's common, and I
Yeah.
think that she's
Mm-hmm.
absolutely right. I've been doing fast. I want to be very honest and transparent, and also we want to say hello to our new glower in the room, Beauty for One. Hello, hello. We're opening up this conversation, Beauty for One, with when we're talking about fasting. Should we also include things that we are visually consuming, or things that we are partaking in? Should we look at fast beyond the food for this month of September, because we are talking about getting snatchy in September. Y'all have been seeing my videos. I'm posting. I'm staying motivated and encouraged by posting my progress, because honestly, until I was posting those pictures and those videos, I know I've been committing, and I know I've been doing the work physically, but to see it actually transition, it's like, wow, like I'm glowing up, y'all. I'm glowing up. But I kind of got off of my mental today, because I've been bombarded with all of this Andrew Gillum talk, and I noticed that I was tuning into what they were talking about, because I went to college with both Andrew Gillum and R.J. Gillum, and I kind of feel like I'm personally just kind of tied into this story a bit. And then I said, is this affecting my fast? Because my energy wise, it was different. And I even, like I was telling you, Hopi, I had a really interesting dream, and I'm going to share that with you still, because I realized the day has gone by and I still haven't sent it to you. But I kind of got my answer as to what it was. I was hoping
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't that, but I have gotten my answer. But that's what happens also with fast. I don't know if you guys have experienced it, but when I go on fast, um, it's not pretty. Things kind of, it is
Yeah,
not
it's
like,
not.
yeah, it is not like oh gosh, I'm so free, and it's like
Mm-mm.
spiritually you get attacked. You get attacked. Like weird things started happening. I have a buddy that every time he goes on a fast, he literally says somebody of significance dies when he's on a fast. So it's not like somebody that he knew way back in the day. It's always somebody close.
And
And
now you're starting
um,
to dive into my realm of the of conversation
let's talk
of
about
trying
it.
to
Let's talk about it. Yeah.
connecting the spiritual part of fasting to your
Yeah,
reality.
please.
And I don't. I like to be very clear. I don't like um, the hocus pocus of it all. Right. I will break it down to a point that will be understandable. Um, Instead of trying to give you the magical part of it, right?
Hmm.
Like if you're going to be
Hmm.
fasting, what are you doing to your body, right? You're
Right.
used to you're used to, or you're accustomed to certain chemicals being released into the body, right? But what a lot
Yes.
of people don't understand that it takes time for your body to digest certain things, a certain amount of time, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It doesn't take that amount of time for your body to release those chemicals. So your body will literally release chemicals just from the satisfaction of seeing, or in the process of making the thing that you're craving. In anticipation for that chemical being introduced to your body will release those chemicals before you even digest them, right? And those chemicals are what induce your different thoughts, your different dreams, things of that nature. Uh, and then we're linked into to the actual nature of it, and not some spiritual mumbo jumbo that somebody's going to try to sell you on, right? So I'm deep into to the spiritual side, but I'm thinking about it on more on a chemical base. So
Yeah.
yeah, these dreams that you're having, and whatnot are just things that your body is literally manifesting in your mind. And I don't mean just in your mind, your brain, but your heart mind as well. So your heart has more synapses than the human brain. So you got to really think, at what point are you switching from your brain thought to your heart thought, right? You're satisfying a craving. So this is heart thought now, right? And it's really crazy when you go on to when you start actually getting into your fast, you're depriving your body of those chemicals that it can't grow accustomed to, like if it was a drug. And most of the time, it is technically a drug that your body is producing. These sugars, especially.
And that was my point. Because Beauty for One, I asked her, has she ever been on a fast? And she said yes, no more than 4 days. And I asked, what did she consume? What type of fast? And she said it was a water fast. And I want to ask you now, Beauty for One, did you experience anything spiritually? Because again, I want to be honest. When I first started doing fast, I started as a trainer. And so I did it because I was going from the gym. I was leaving the company that I was employed with, and I was going solo. And I did not want to lose my appeal. I didn't want people to say, "Oh, well, the gym, you kind of fell off. You're not in the gym anymore." So I went totally hard, y'all. I did 28 days of nothing. I did water, water for 28 days. I didn't do anything. I didn't do a refeeding. I didn't know what a refeeding was. I didn't find out what a refeeding was until 3 years ago. And then I would start to do refeedings when I did fast. But for the first time I ever did a fast, I did 28 days solid and nothing. And I tell you, the first thing I ate when I came off of the fast, I ate Cheetos. Y'all, and I told you I almost died,
Oh
y'all.
no.
Cheetos almost killed me, y'all, in that toilet. I was literally upside down in the bathroom, like trying to get away from the pain of my body trying to pass some 5 Cheetos, y'all. Not even the full bag I was able to consume. My stomach went bananas. It went haywire.
Oh yeah.
So I did it. I did it the first time without really knowing the power of fasting, if that makes sense. I know it does to y'all. I've known Hopi for over a decade. I know I just met you, Neil, but you got a good energy that I can feel that, we're on the same page. Yeah, so now the second fast I went on, and I remember, what happened? During that fast, after I came off, guys, I lost 20 pounds in 28 days, so in a month. Now, mind you, just to put things into context, I've been glowing up and working on myself and improving over these past 5 months, and I've lost 32 pounds as of today since I started during the pandemic. So that's about 5 months. That's about 6 pounds a month. I lost 80% of what I lost now in 20 days, in 28 days, in 1 month when I first did the fast, the first ever fast I was on. So I say all that to say this, that the amazing things happened when I was on that fast, but I didn't equate them to spiritual situations. I didn't equate them to spiritual situations until my fast recently. I can see how, hey, I wasn't able to do this and do that, and this kept me here and this kept me there. And it was spiritually, there was movement, but because I wasn't thinking of it spiritually, I didn't embrace it spiritually. You understand what I'm saying when I say that? She said, I know you were sick. I was. Y'all, I did when I tell you, and let me tell you, not for nothing. So because the fasts were so effective, I started committing to do them. I first said I was going to do them every other month. And then I went to doing them twice a year, every 6 months. And then for up until 3 years ago, For the first for the first 3 years of my divorce, I didn't do them at all. I really got away from them. But when I came back and I knew what refeedings were and all of that, I had to do my research. And y'all, I was a nutritionist, and I was still, I was damaging myself. But I remember one time I came off of a fast and I drank a milkshake. Let me tell you, I wasn't sick in the stomach, but my tongue got what do they call it? It got an intense cramp. I couldn't put my tongue inside my mouth because my body hadn't been used. Yes, it was stuck outside of my mouth for almost 6 hours. I couldn't put it in my tongue. My tongue swelled up,
Wow.
and the muscles, the muscles wouldn't release. The muscles wouldn't release. It was just stuck outside my mouth. It was the weirdest thing. And I
Like
said,
like an allergic reaction,
what is
right?
that? Yeah, it was almost like an allergic, but
Yeah.
it was cramping. It was a cramping. My tongue hurt. Like my throat, I thought I would never be able to swallow again because y'all, I was sucking. Y'all, it was a Burger King shake too, so it was thick.
Oh
I
no,
was sucking on that shake
that's
so
probably one of
hard.
the worst ones that you can actually have. Uh, I I I do fast, but my fasts are different.
Oh,
Especially
great.
with my line of work and whatnot. Uh, but I have an ongoing fast from McDonald's.
Mm,
I can't.
you have
I
to.
I I
I have
refuse to eat anything from their facility. Mainly because I've worked there before, so I know these like little bad habits these shortcuts that they take, um,
yeah, yeah.
from how they store their food to how they prepare it. Yeah, I know all the little shortcuts, so I told myself I will never step foot in one of these places ever again.
You know
That's
what?
and
That's
so
how my cousin got me off of Taco Bell because he worked there. He told me that the cheese was man. I don't know if you get a strike if the video if you come out talking maliciously against these companies. But I want to say in the restaurant that he was working, he told me that the cheese was not cheese. It was grated lard. It was grated pork lard and dyed. You
yeah,
know,
yeah, that's pretty much what it is. And
that's
McDonald's is guilty
crazy.
of doing, like, take that salt that
Yeah.
people enjoy so much on their fries at McDonald's. Yeah, that's not
Yes.
salt either.
It's not salt. And I
No,
heard
that's
that they
not
put
salt. That's
sugar. I heard that they put sugar in there on their fries. That's what makes
n-
them somewhat addictive.
Yeah.
well, sugar in a sense of that's MSG. It's that salt that they're putting on
Right.
there is a meat tenderizer. So that technically that's a sugar. That's a MSG that they're putting on their fries. They don't necessarily have salt that comes into their facility outside of those little packets that they give you in for the breakfast. Yeah, that's nasty.
She said, "Really? Yes, really." My cousin told me so much. I've never eaten at Taco Bell since, and I think I was 14, so he rocked my world because I used to get the I remember what I used to get. I used to get those cinnamon twists. They used to have these cinnamon twists that
Oh
I used
yeah.
to love. Yeah, I
Oh,
used
you.
to get those. And I used to get the chili cheese. They had these chili cheese like almost like quesadillas, but they were chili cheese. And I used to love it. And I would
uh,
get mild sauce and the extra hot. I would never get the what
It
was it?
had
I would never get the medium.
the cinnamon pork rinds.
Oh yeah, yes. Basically, that's what they were. And yeah, he told me everything was just not what it. But what threw me was the cheese because I'm a cheese connoisseur. I love the melting pot. I'm telling you, I can be a real a real degenerate when it comes to cheese. I can get real sloppy with it. I'm not particular, except for Velveeta. I won't eat that
Oh,
crap, guys.
oh, that's
Yeah,
horrible. That's
that's
horrible.
not cheese either.
That is disgusting.
That's manufactured. I will not eat American
Disgusting.
cheese, but I can get very basic when it comes to cheese. I'm not snobby at all. I'm like I'll take that. I will take that subpar cheese. I'm not snobby, but
Yeah.
um,
I think it's that especially that when you were saying something about that allergic reaction that you had, if something comes to mind, it's like the same thing
it
kind of
wasn't an
happens with
allergic. It was a spasm.
no,
It was
no,
a
it was
yeah
a spasm.
yeah. It
A
was
lot of
like
people don't realize how much bleach goes into the pasteurization process of milk.
Oh
right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
which includes your cheeses, all your dairy products, and
true.
your orange juice. Your orange juice and some lemonades go through a pasteurization process as well,
I make a
right?
lemonade. Shameless plug
That
time. Grovade
well,
lemonade for all of your refreshing juice needs. Thank you.
shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
Uh,
No, we want to say hello to Brother Screen Learning. Thank you so much, Brother CK, keeping everybody on point. Everybody, please share this video on thumbs up. This is a good discussion. It is, and definitely, brother, you're welcome to join the panel. I'm dropping the link once again. Because we are priding ourselves at MX Media Group on not just talking at our people in the chats, but talking with. And that was something that I really appreciated from Brother CK with seeing that, always inviting people to come into the panel. I love that. I love that, and I think that if you can, why not? And reminding everybody, tomorrow is the State of the Melanin Address that goes on at 11:35 Eastern Standard Time. We are going to be addressing such topics as: should Black people, Black African Americans, change their names? Should we be known as something else? And if so, what is it? We'll be having that topic covered. We'll also be having some special guests, including The Black is Truth, including Too Raw for TV, and of course, your beloved members of MX Media Group, who will be weighing in tomorrow as well. So we're going to be doing a State of the Melanin Address. We're going to be talking about some things. I assume also Andrew Gillum is one of them. You guys, at this point, do you think the Andrew Gillum situation is gossip? Should I be concerned with the fact that I'm consuming this much information when I'm going on a fast? Your thoughts?
um, so I didn't even know about that. Because
Oh,
throughout
you
this
made
week
me feel
I've
so bad.
been,
Help me,
what you
like,
say?
listen. You almost made me feel bad. I didn't
No, no,
even
no.
know about that.
I didn't know about it because all
You
I've been
giving me the crap.
consuming,
You
all
giving me
I've been
crap
consuming
today.
is virtual learning. That's basically all I've been consuming is being online with kids. So, when you were talking about it, this was me.
And,
I was like,
yes, and
oh
yes,
no.
this is a very much an official of highest esteem. Almost one governor, was very close. So where
Oh
DeSantis
no, I know
is,
who he is. I
right?
know
Isn't
who
it
he is.
amazing?
That's why my
You didn't
mouth
know?
was open.
Wow,
And I
no
was just like,
way.
oh gosh, I hope that's not true. But
Yes.
when you talk about fasting, sometimes you do have to watch what you're consuming. Sometimes you do have to, because I mean, for me, every time I've gone on a fast, um, a few times it was like I would go on like sugar fast because I know like I really like sugar, but sugar really does not like me because it would hurt my joints and stuff. So I would go on a sugar fast. Um, but
really hard to do that.
but I did it. I did it.
Yeah.
But most times that I went on fast, it was for spiritual purposes exclusively. Because Courtney said, full disclosure, um, I'm Christian, and for me, um, like I realized that there were times when I was using certain things or like putting certain things before cultivating my spiritual maturity. And so I would go on fast for that purpose to get back closer to God. Like for instance, like there was and I mean this wasn't like the whole reason I went on a fast, but I realized one time I went like I heard when I first started working with children, and it was really stressing me out. And there was a corner store on the corner of my block because I worked for the after school program I went to when I was in middle school. And so I went to the corner store and I was like super stressed. And I remember picking up a tasty cake eclair. And
Oh,
I looked at it and I was like, I picked it up and I looked at it and I went, oh. and like I put it back on the shelf because I was like, I realize I am picking this thing up because I am stressed.
Yeah, stress eater.
I actually tested myself, and I was feeling stressed one time, and I purposely bought something that I knew I would like, and I ate that thing, and I noticed how differently I felt, like emotionally, and I was like, oh. I said, "Oh, that's not good." I said, "We gotta curtail that." So, but like when I would go on fast, like for spiritual purposes, like when I'm wanting to be close to God. I need some clarity on some things in my life, and I would go on fast for those purposes because a lot of times, at least in my opinion, there are things that we will use as a drug and as a replacement for actually sitting still and you know um things that we'll use to medicate different things. Or when I can't find an answer to this, then I'll use this to comfort myself. When sometimes you just need to sit still, and for me, like I need to get back closer to God in my spiritual relationship with Him, so that I can receive more clarity in what I need to do in my life. And for me, that works. That works. So like I wouldn't have dreams and things like that, but I did realize that I would be like clearer, and like I could hear what he was saying to me clearer because I wasn't using other things. Like sometimes it was TV. And so for me, I feel like it is important for me to study the Bible. It's important for me to pray, but TV was more important. It was more important for me to watch these shows. It was more important for me to do those things. And so I was not giving that time that that was necessary to cultivate my relationship with God. So I had to back away from that and say, all right, you gotta fast from TV. And my family would be looking at me like, so what do you do? I'm like, I'm, just not watching TV for this amount of time. And they were like, okay. But I knew I needed to do that because I wasn't giving the time that I needed to give. So for me, that's the like it's either for the sugar thing, but most of the time it's for basically cultivating my relationship with God and spiritual maturity.
Yep, makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
There's, I guess for me it would be the same thing, but on a more African spirituality base, using the same principles of basically uh, understanding what it is that I am consuming visually. I understand like on a level of uh, I guess you would say social construction or more of a what's the word I'm looking for here? The amount of money that gets put into advertisements to draw your attention.
Product placement.
Product placement. I mean, all the way down to the colors that they use
Oh yeah.
on trying to draw your attention in. And like you said before, putting your phone on black and white, that's a great idea because then you're taking away billions of dollars of research that went into trying to draw your attention, right? Billions. I was amazed by that. I think I
Oh
was
yeah.
watching something like Loose Change 9/11 like 10 years ago. And I came to that realization that yeah, it's done like that on purpose. um, but trying to figure out what it is that you need to fast from, or taking
Yeah.
a baby step and trying to uh, take out one thing out of your regular routine is a fast, right?
Yeah. Agreed.
People
Agreed.
So you find out that okay, I'm addicted to oatmeal cookies. I got to stop doing that. Well, it's going to be hard because that temptation, you find comfort in it, right? Or a bag of chips. Take
Mm-hmm.
out that
Mm-hmm.
one bag of chips out of your diet, right? That's just the consumption. So let's apply that to I don't want to watch any more advertisements. Every time I see an advertisement, walk away. Avert your
Mm.
eyes. Turn away from it. That's a fast. You're taking away that consumerism out of your diet, and those responses that we're unaware of start to turn off. Right?
True.
These are background programs running in the back of our mind, keeping us away from our focus. Right?
True.
It's distracting us. We don't even realize it that it's distracting us from our everyday routine. Right? Like you got up this morning and you didn't make up your bed. Now you got that notion that you didn't make up your bed in the back of your mind, and it's going to be kind of running subconsciously all throughout your day, all because you forgot to take your shoes and not put them under your bed.
True.
Right?
True.
Our brains are like computers. I mean, these background programs take up our energy, take up our time, take up our space, but the time and space in our minds that we're unaware of that is used for construction or critical thinking,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
it's
Correct.
kind of, it's kind of like one of those weird things where, say, something like a bracelet that you didn't put on that day because it's your favorite bracelet, it's your lucky bracelet or whatever the hell, and you didn't put it on that day. Well, that thing is going to be itching at the back of your head that whole time because you're going to reach down and normally you feel it, right? And it's not there, and you feel naked, you feel vulnerable, right? You didn't wear your wedding ring, now you feel guilty. These are all chemicals being released as well. These are all thought processes that are in the back of your head running, which will distract you from your everyday routine and can consider to be a type of fast. Mind you, it can go from negative to positive, but these different ways of being able to fast make a huge difference in your life. Like
I
not go,
definitely agree.
yeah,
It just
like
the
not,
amount of discipline, the amount of
yeah,
discipline
yeah.
that goes into it. And I really, you know, what thing would drive me crazy, and it still does. You know, I accept it more because I've heard it so much now. But when people say, "I could never do that," yes, you could. Like, would you stop it?
Yes,
I could never do that. I could never
I
do that.
I purposely
You'd be
don't put
surprised.
anything past anybody. That's what.
Exactly.
But that's
Exactly.
also like something that people need to work on. Oh, I'm sorry. Fast, I guess fast wise. Um, because sometimes those things that can take you to a negative place. Um, I don't know that I would necessarily call it a fast, but I mean, if that's a fast for you, it is a fast. And just like you said, with the not putting the shoes under the bed or not making the bed or not having on the bracelet, some people that's a struggle, and
Yeah,
that's a mental struggle for everything becoming negative or um, basically always being punitive with yourself about things that you haven't done or that you have done. And sometimes, like if that's something that you're dealing with and that it's hard for you not to deal with, it goes past just fasting. And you might need some type of professional help. And that's not a bad thing, but to really realize, like, so why am I always negative toward myself? That can be something that you might need to talk to someone about, especially if it is overtaking your day and you can't focus because you didn't make your bed or you didn't put something under your bed or you didn't wear a certain thing, and it is something that is constantly gnawing at you throughout a day, and um and you get stuck on that thing. like Beauty 4-1 said, because to perfection is a myth, and so you can't be perfect all the time. And when that becomes an issue where you cannot overcome that feeling, then that's when something else needs to happen.
Yeah.
That's when you might need to have, like, you might need to talk to a counselor, and realize, like, why it is that you feel like everything needs to be perfect all the time. Like, I tell people all the time, therapy is just about the best gift you can give yourself. I tell people all the time because I believe it, because I have been to it, because I needed it. But when it's something that messes with your focus that much, that's just like with people who gamble. Like,
Oh,
as soon as you see a game on, you're like, okay, I'm not going to watch any games. I'm not going to do that. But then when you see it, then that comes back on you, and you're just like,
I
I could make
I
a good
personally
buck off of this. And or when you see the advertisement and you're like, okay, because I went to school for graphic design, I think I see every amount of product placement that's in a movie or in a show. I'm like, oh, that was good product placement. That was really good. That was slick. That was good. But
that makes a
when
lot
you
of sense
see
as to
it,
why I'm here and connecting with you on that level. Because I also went to school for graphic design, straight
Mhm,
from high school, my ROP class, and into college for graphic design and web design. So color palettes is one of my what was one of my strong suits. So yeah, connecting on another level. But um, my whole point of connecting those two things is what I like to call microtherapy. Just like for yourself, when you caught yourself trying to um, satisfy a urge from the stress that you
mhm,
had, and you go to stress eating. This is all in the same category for myself as microtherapy. Those things that we are capable of doing ourselves outside of getting professional help,
mhm.
right? So the
Yeah.
the professional help that you averted to was a strong point. It's something that we all definitely could do with. But if we're not going to seek that help and we want to take up this fasting, right? Uh, it's important to understand not just context or contextualizing what it is that you're fasting from, but the fact that, like I was saying, there's these micro programs that we don't notice are those micro therapy sessions that we give to ourselves, right? So it's not just a matter of like, well, for me, I'm trying to paint a picture here, and the picture I decided to use was the whole, making your bed, right, and having that stress you out in the back of your mind. It's not the fact that it's stressing you out. It's driving you nuts. It's more along the lines of it's something that you may have forgotten to do,
Mhm,
right? You left the house and you forgot to take out the trash, right? It's not nothing really important. You can always take it out when you get home, but it's in the back of your mind,
mhm,
right? Being disciplined on yourself is in the same category as fasting, right? It's the discipline that you're changing, the action that you're changing. The action that you're changing is something out of your normal routine. Everything that goes out of your normal routine throws off the chemical balance in what's normally done throughout your day. The satisfaction part. The satisfaction is the chemical. The satisfaction is what releases that, right? So I'm going on a tangent.
mhm.
Trying to draw myself back here, but
No,
but
no,
yeah,
but I love that. And I love, and speaking of that, this is a great question. Oh, first of all, I want to say hello, brother, Guy. Definitely one of my supporters, stronger supporters, has known me for all of my transitional phase. You know, I like to pride myself on that. I can't say that enough, guys. When people are my glowers, my lighters, when you are engaging with me, you engage on some other channels, you will talk to those people that lead those other channels, and nobody in that chat room has ever met that person, knows that person. When you're in my room, I literally have the room mostly is always filled to some capacity with people that I've known for decades. I'm not talking about that I just met last year. So, Brother God, I want to thank you for being in here today. Always a supporter and a member of MX Media Group. Check out when he will be doing his channel. We're working that off. Hello, Miss Cinnamon C. Hello, hello. Watching this while I'm working out. Get it, girl. Let's get Snatchy for September. And Swarty Daisy had a great question. Will we talk about healthy boundaries and with people? So, should fasting from certain people, certain energies also be a part of fasting? I think I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. Let's talk about
Definitely,
it.
yeah.
definitely.
Hello,
Especially when you get I don't know, you have your friends and everything that you hang out with and whatnot. And I'm sorry, I forgot your name.
Oh,
Hope. Yes, she brought up a good point of having to avoid the gossip. Like your friends are going to be gossip about this, that, and the other, but you're trying to keep yourself away from that, right? Nothing against your friends, but you really want to try to get some of that negativity out of your life, and you know that it's based on your addiction to gossip, right? So you're trying to get away from it. It's not one of those easy things to do, but you can go on a fast of uh, um, uh, from your friends. Hey, I love you guys, but I need some time for myself.
mhm.
I just need some alone time. I will see you in such and such amount of time, such and such period, right? No hate lost or no love lost, no hate gained. You get your fast, and maybe you can influence your friends on doing the same thing. So when you guys get back together, you have more constructive things to talk about other
Mhm.
than the gossip, right? You kind of like doing killing two birds with one stone. You're planting a seed of positivity, and you're also clearing your space,
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
Right.
Like,
I really don't think a lot of people did that when they got into a lot of these relationships that are turning sour because of this COVID and everybody being quarantined and whatnot, and all of this domestic violence manifesting itself now, mainly because people didn't realize that they didn't really spend much time with their significant other before they really got to know them. And now you have all these red flags that you should have been paying attention to kind of rearing their ugly heads.
and not being honest too.
Hmm.
Because you know, before all of this happened, there probably were red flags about things, but you weren't
Yeah.
honest and you didn't bring them up. Um,
Hmm.
some people and I mean, and I think some people don't do the quote unquote fast from people because they are um, afraid that maybe those people won't want to be around them anymore, especially if they're like, well, I mean, what's wrong with me? Why are you saying that you don't want to hang out and stuff like that? Like most of the people that I would like, most of the time, like when I would do the whole gossip fast thing, it would be at work. And so I would, and some people are just, acquaintances at work. Very few people are what I would consider like friends that I would like tell like deep things to. But there's times when I've been like, when there was, gospel about to come out, earbuds would go in, or I'll be like, all right, I'll see y'all later. And I just would excuse myself. I wouldn't even say anything. I would just excuse myself. And that was it. Um, but a lot of times, especially when you brought up the whole quarantine relationships thing with like domestic violence and stuff like that, because people use other things to fill up where there is a hole somewhere. So a lot of times they will use people, like where some people will use tasty cake eclairs. Other people, their um, thing of choice is people. And so I'll be in this relationship, even though I know it's not good, even though I know it's not healthy, but I'll stay in this relationship because, I go to work every day. I hang out with my friends. I, go to see my mom and my dad. But now there is really none of that. So now I have to be in this house with this person. Now I was never, and I was like, I'll stay and I'll be here because I want to say I'm with someone or I want to be with someone, even though I know that there are issues. But you never talked about them. And you never were honest about the fact that there's something that you you all are dealing with in the relationship, like silent strife. Because I remember I read a quote, and someone said strife is not always something, strife or anger is not always something loud. Sometimes it's an undercurrent. And it's like you feel the undercurrent. Like just because you don't feel water running doesn't mean it's not water running under your feet. There's something called groundwater. Just because you don't hear it running, there's water running somewhere. And so there's an undercurrent of some type of strife or some type of anger or some type of unhappiness, and neither party has been honest with it. And so when you're not honest with it, then when everything is compounded and you can't get away from one another, then everything starts rising to the surface. So that's when those types of things happen. And sometimes a fast can be, and I had to go on this fast because most people who know me, everyone, and I mean, not trying to hype myself up, but I'm just saying what everyone has always said about me. Like, Hope is so nice. Like, she's so, like, I mean, I've always had my mother tell me, you are just like your dad. And my dad was a very mild mannered man. And so, it's like a lot of times I wasn't always honest about how things made me feel. And, you know, someone hurting my feelings or something like that. And I had to stop, maybe quote unquote fast, from just holding back how I really felt and say, you know what, I don't like that you did that. I want you to stop doing that to me. I feel like that maybe you didn't mean to be disrespectful to me, but I feel like when you do that, like you're like I feel very disrespected, and I'd appreciate it if you not do that anymore. And so and sometimes in a fast, there are things that you have to not do, but on the flip side of that, there's something that you need to do. So it's like, okay, I'm not going to eat this, but how am I going to change on the other side? Because I think that's the thing that people don't think about when it comes to a fast. They think about, okay, for this amount of time, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to be around this. I'm not going to look at this. But during that time of the fast, how is it that you want to change so that on the other side of it, that thing does not come back to control you in some type of way? And every now and then it may come back, but maybe the next time it comes back, it's not stronger because you're thinking about how am I going to change on the other side of this fast? So, what am I doing during the fast that will help me change on the other side of it? I think that's something that a lot of people don't think about.
Yeah, that's a great point because
Wow.
that's almost exactly the same idea that I was given about
Everyone put your
that
blow up.
background
Yes.
that background what do they call it, that background program in your own mind. That's like
Mm,
exactly the same thing,
okay.
right? Great way that you put it though. I like the way that you put it, that underflow, right?
Right. And I love what you said that when people think of fasting, you think of something that you aren't going to do anymore. But what are you committing to that you are going to do? Y'all,
Mhm.
do me a favor. If you are in this room and you're loving what's being said, put a glower up, please. We are dropping some serious jewels in here. Hopi is coming through. Brother Neo is on it. I'm even watching the chat. put some glowers up. I'm glowing myself up here. I'm putting up some light bulbs. I'm lighting some lights, and I'm putting up some light bulbs as well as candles. But make sure you're glowing up that chat stream. Blow it up. So this is also something that I said simultaneously I wanted to do this September, right? I did say, hey, I am going to not eat meat, and I'm going to not eat sugar, and that includes making my favorite, again, shameless plug, pineapple based lemonade.
And I
That's
love pineapple.
I love it too.
I can eat cans of pineapple by myself. Like I
I
purposely buy it so I can eat it.
it is one of my favorites. It's one of my favorites. Thank you so much, brother CK. Always supporting. Thank you so much. And I appreciate my brothers lighting their lights. Remember, adding to someone's shine doesn't take away any of yours. It doesn't. And I love the fact that I'm networking with people that get and understand that. Because when I first came to YouTube years ago, it was more of everybody was saying, hey, make content, make content, make content. But when I came back last year, nobody was encouraging other people to make content anymore. It was all, hey, just like what I'm doing, just like what I'm doing, just join my channel, just do this, just do that. And I'm like, wow, to actually be back in the network with people that are like, hey, encouraging you to, create content, encouraging you to jump on their streams with them, that really does, it really does the body good. So I would say, in addition to this, you guys, if you don't know me, I live a very simple life. I've never owned a car. I don't drive. I don't have a TV. Next month, I'll be single and celibate for 6 years. I know y'all are like, Courtney is so exciting. I am. Everybody knows. But I'm a writer. But what I did say I was going to commit to doing this month of September is make sure I give God at least an hour in the prayer closet every day. Every day. And I thought, just like, I don't know if anybody has seen The War Room in here, but I love that movie. And just like how what she said, she thought, what am I going to do in a prayer closet? I'm not going to have nothing to do. At first, I used to think, well, I'm going to take my pillow in there because I get in there in the morning. I'm going to take a nap. But once I get in there, I'm going to take a nap. God's going to talk to me in these dreams and visions. We're going to meditate on it together, God. But once I would get in there, I would be I have my notepad out and I'm scribbling and I'm scrambling and I'm he's telling me who to reach. I'm reaching out to people and I'm getting confirmation, and I say, before I know it, it's an hour and a half. And then I'm like, well, now it's time for my workout, so I can't go back to bed. So my day just starts there. And so that's literally since September 1st, that's been the way it's going down. And I'm like, even though that wasn't my plan was just to go in the closet and just be like, that's going to be enough, Lord.
I'm going to be in there.
Yeah, I'm going to be in there. I'm going to be in the room with you, Lord. We in this here. We in here. But my kids, I don't know if you guys saw it, but on my new home video open house, my glow open house, my children set up my prayer room. And they did such a beautiful job. They had all my candles at the top. I went out and got my little sticky tabs. So now the wall is all green and purple, and I have them all sectioned out. These are the prayers for other people, prayers for me, prayers that I came for the day, prayers that I'm going to continue to pray for after it's received, like I'm working on a prayer plan with God, and I just I'm really finding that has added a lot of value to my day. Do you know how good I feel about facing my day after I spent an hour in that war room? I feel like ain't nothing
in your morning.
Absolutely, ain't nothing gonna happen to me that God ain't ordained, because my steps are ordered. And so I know this F-Bomb Friday was supposed to be about fitness and the fasting, but we're going over into that faith topic, because I think that that's such an integral part also. And when you're developing and finding your true purpose, having faith in that you're walking in the spirit of who you are and what you are to become. It's so powerful. And I love what's being said here. And y'all dropping some beautiful glowers. I ain't never seen glowers like this, y'all. Oh my gosh, we got the beautiful light bulbs lighting up the pages. We got the fire. We got the suns. We got stars. Y'all, thank y'all. Drop these glowers. So yeah, again, I think that was a great point, Hopi, that we have to think about what we're committing to, the underflow, the undercurrent, the afterflow, and not just what we're doing physically or not doing physically. I am burning my incense now to wind down. Yes, that's a beautiful way. I love a smell good house, y'all. I don't care what nobody say about me and my cats. I still like me a smell good house. I spends my money. My financial advisor has talked to me several times about my addictions to candles and to Glade plugins, and I said I'm not gonna stop.
Glade plug.
I give up something else to eat before I stop buying my candles. If I gotta go without
I wish I could, but the way these allergies are set up, the way my allergies are set up, there's only certain things. Because I mean, because like this changing of the weather.
Yes.
I went outside today and I'm like, yeah.
Oh, Philly has
coming.
seasons. Philly has
my sinuses feel it. Okay.
Philly has seasons for sure. You know, I said Charlotte was the first place that I ever lived that in the South that I felt, you know, I legitimately saw what a winter was, because Philly seems to think that it's summer, then winter, then a spring. It ain't even a real spring. It ain't even a real spring. It ain't no fall. It's a spring, and it's a long winter. It is no fall. But
yes,
Charlotte,
yes, it is.
Able to see the beauty of all the stages. But Philly doesn't play. It go right from you sweating your butt off to freezing it off in a matter of a month. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. My first couple of years there, I really felt, because I was like, I moved here in a fluke. This can't be the way it always is. But after that second year, I'm like, oh, okay, this is just how it goes. This is how it goes. Okay, the people it's
like a little bit of fall, then winter, then super winter, then
winter.
like baby winter, then spring, then summer.
I tell you, when you come to visit me, I will do my best to hide up all of my my smell goods. But
no, that's what they make Zyrtec for. They make Zyrtec.
Good, please, because Stormy you don't have to worry about, but Lightning will love you, and she always loves
cats.
people that
I don't mind cats. Like cats does. It's not the cats. It's like anything scented, flowery, stuff like that. Like scents that smell kind of like the ocean, I'm fine with those. But anything flowery, outside smelling things,
yes,
yeah, that's.
I like
my sinuses is like, what you doing? Like, what are you doing right now?
Okay. So, brother Guy, this is beautiful Hope from Philly. This is one of my friends. Me and Hope have known each other for about 16 years now. 16, 17 years now. She's like me. She like you knew me. She knew my ex-husband. So when I tell y'all I lost the real one, Hope can testify. He was a very good man, very very smart. he was all that. He was all that.
He was very unassuming. Like you would never know all the stuff that he was. You would never know. You would never know because he was just a chill individual.
Yeah. He was very chill, and I tell the kids now. The kids forgot that he rapped. They don't remember him rapping. I say, yeah, he was a rapper. He missed the suits and nice cars. They forget. Yeah, y'all never heard it. Y'all never heard it. Yeah, they telling me we do know Daddy rap. I said, he said we saw the CD. I said, well, y'all never heard it. It's a difference. But Hope has always been a wealth of knowledge, and she's always been like very level headed, very calm, very sweet, and I love to see that who someone is, who someone is has not how the world is has not affected what you are, Hope. Because you are a light. I'm gonna put up another glower for you, sis Hope. You are
Thank
a
you.
light for yourself. I love you. I love you. Hey, so Hope, what are you committing to fast from this month? What are you committing to fast from?
um,
Mm, I'm
I'm
putting
like my commitment, like honestly, and it's been something since this whole pandemic thing started. 'Cause I was like, Lord, what is going on here? Okay.
yes,
And I'm like, and in my mind, I was like, there is no way that all like this is happening and there is no purpose in it. And I was like, Lord, help me to see why you have me in this place because this is what's crazy. So I work at a school in West Philly and I was finagled by my boss because I have two jobs in the same school building. I work with special needs kids and I work for an after school program at the end of the day. And my boss from the after school program was a part of this advisory council in the neighborhood. And a minister who was on the advisory council, she was going back to seminary. And so they were like, well, the secretary of the advisory council, she can't do it today, next Monday. Can you just take the minutes? I was like, sure, I'll take the minutes. Sure. Yeah, that turned into now 5 years of me being the secretary of the advisory council. They were slick with it. Let me tell you, people that who work in the community and stuff like that, and they really about that community work. Oh, they'll finagle you into getting into it. But I digress. So basically, I was talking to the rec leader at where we have the advisory council meetings, and he I said, "Oh, you took a whole week off for your birthday?" I said, "I wish I could have like just 2 days off." That was literally like maybe a week or two before everything broke. And I said, "Well, Lord, I asked for some time off. Here you go." Okay. And so um basically
Moral of the
during this
story is be
time,
careful what you ask for.
there you go. Basically during this time, like the one thing that I have been fasting from is and working on fasting from is complacency and laziness because it is easy for me to put things off. It's
yes,
easy for me to procrastinate. It's
glory.
easy for me to look at the stuff I have to do, not do it, then look at it again and become all stressed and like, well, sis, you wouldn't be stressed if you just did it. So um, that's been something that has been continuous since um, basically this thing started. Just saying, okay, all right, so you just gotta get up and do this. You just gotta do this. Um, yeah, that's basically it's just a continuation of what I've been doing because it's like I know if I ease up some, sometimes if you ease up some, and sometimes that's my prayer. Like Lord, put a want to in my spirit, put a want to, and I'm like serious. I'm like, cause and like the same way I'm talking to you is most of the time the same way I talk to God. I'm like, okay, God, because listen here, Dad, I don't want to do this. I don't feel like doing it. I don't want to get up and read my books for my class. I don't feel like doing this assignment. I don't want to pick all this stuff up. So, Lord, I know there's these things I need to do, and I need you to put a want to in my spirit. Okay?
Put
So,
that up. I put that up in the chat room. If that ain't worth all screens
listen,
on with this glower right now, y'all better light this thing up. Put a
because
want to in
sometimes
my
you don't want
spirit.
to. And sometimes
No,
you
you
got to be
don't. You
honest
don't.
about fact that you don't want to.
You
And
know.
sometimes you have to be honest about the fact that you can't make yourself want to. And so I'm like, okay, please put a want to, put a yes, put a yes, please, thank you. And then I'll find myself doing stuff. And I'm like, oh, thank you for that yes. Thank you for the yes in my spirit. Thank you. Thank you so much. Because if it was up to Hope, she would be sitting and watching HGTV, of which she is very addicted to watching, because anything that is artistic and that you're making something and you're making something out of nothing, I will watch it all day. Okay. So
All day and won't complain. Listen, that
and
was me.
won't complain.
Law and Order. That was
And
me,
won't
and
complain.
watch the same episode at 8 o'clock in the morning and at 8 p.m. and won't complain.
No,
Thank
but
you.
see, if it's
Thank
the
you
same episode, I know the different channels. So if I'm watching HGTV and something else comes on, I'm going to turn to Create. And if I
no,
see something on Create that I don't like, then I'm going to turn it to, if there's reruns of Say Yes to the Dress, because anything that is design oriented, I'm going to want to watch it. Ooh, that is a beautiful design of a dress. So
let me tell you. Let me tell you how committed I was. I would say, well, if it's coming on again, that meant I missed something the first time. Thank you. 8 o'clock a.m., 8 o'clock p.m. I'm gonna catch it all this time. You won't get
this
me.
I miss something.
Criminal intent unit. Okay, you.
Hilarious.
Thank you, sirs. Y'all won't stop me today. I'm in here today. I'm in this courtroom today.
Oh.
Faith over fear today, Law and Order. Thank you. So
That's
Neil, brother
so
Neil,
yes,
what are
it's just
you?
a continuation.
It is. It
Um,
is.
because it's
Oh,
like
I'm
it's
right
something
here
I have to
soaking it all
remind
up.
my I
I'm
have to remind
wondering.
myself every day.
Yeah. I'm wondering, brother Neil, what are you committing to give up for the month of September? What are you committing to give up?
Oh, that's a tough one. Um,
Ooh.
Mainly because I've already set out several goals for myself for the last 3 years. I've been consistent um, with a few of them, so I've just been adding more sub programs to that first intent, right? To make sure that I stay on top of myself, more disciplined on myself. Because I came from the fitness world too. I was a personal trainer for a while, uh, and until I really got myself back together as far as chasing my financial dream. So now I guess this month my dedication is to saving so that I can accomplish paying off whatever bills that I can manage for the whole entire month. Not just bills, but debts. Any debts that I have, I'm
Mhm.
dedicated in September to paying those off by by the end of September, or some of them are at the end of October. So, so debts are what I'm attacking for myself. And it's not necessarily fasting, but it's fasting from spending frivolously, or spending
Mhm.
money on ridiculousness.
Yes,
Right? I have a
yes.
habit. I have a habit or a hobby of making crystal jewelry and whatnot. Right? So I make bracelets and things of that nature, and my little spending money has been going towards that, distracting me from buying stupid stuff.
Mhm.
Right? Like I be careful not to spend too much money on that crystal stuff, because the buying semi-precious stones are, it can be pricey too. Right? So
Mm.
whatever I have, I make them and I sell them. That way, at least I'm making something at the bottom end instead of
Oh
just
yeah,
spending money.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, that's how I had to be with making stuff too. Cause it's like if I go into an art supply store, I'm excited. I'm excited. So
Right, it's an
I have
art
to go,
supply
oh,
store or tool or like a Harbor Freight. For me, I got it on both ends where I got arts and crafts. I'll go in there like a kid in a candy store, or I'll go
mhm.
to a Home Depot or a Ace or a hardware store, and I'm like a kid over here too. So uh, I got it on both ends.
Yeah,
It's not helpful. So I got to abstain from going in there so much.
mm-hmm. Like one thing I did was I would fill my cart with everything I wanted, and then I would stop maybe 2 aisles before the like I had a certain amount that I was going to spend, and then I would say, "Oh, but I could use this. Oh, I need this." And then the other bad part, I work in a school, so I'm like, "Wait a minute, this would be good for the kids. They would love this." And so I
Yeah,
would
stay
just
the
be like,
hell
"All
out of
right,
Walmart.
let's stop before we get to the register, and like really take an inventory of what we absolutely need to get." And so I would then start going back. And one other thing I started doing was having my phone calculator out. So I could start, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Are we getting close? And like every price, putting it in. And it's like, okay, so yeah, I can't get this. And so then you got to decide. So which one is more important for you to get? And then usually I'll wind up with what I'm supposed to have. And every now and then I would end up with like a little of what I wanted and not what I needed. So I'm like, okay, I got to get everything. All right, now we go to the register.
Right.
And that's basically what I did. I think that there's only one bill that I have other than my student loan, because I personally consider my student loan good debt. So, other than my student loan, I have one other bill that I have to pay down because I paid down everything else. And the one thing I did was anytime I came into any type of money, guess what's getting paid for first? That bill, so I don't have to have any more phone calls come to my phone. It's so nice not to have anybody calling my phone. It's so wonderful. It's I'm like, there's one guy. He had like an African name. I remember what his name was because he called my phone so much because of this bill. And then when I paid it, I was like, I don't have to talk to you anymore, Mr. Okafor, anymore. I don't have to talk anymore.
Broke up a relationship with this man. Oh,
Listen,
a
I'm so
whole
sorry. It
a
wasn't working
whole
out, friend.
relationship over
Friend,
the.
it wasn't working out. I'm sorry. I apologize.
That
I
was
have
a
to be
toxic
honest with
relationship that you had over a
you. It wasn't working out. Sorry.
Oh,
I wish
that's
it could have
hilarious.
been better, but it wasn't. It just wasn't working out. Oh, what happened to Courtney? Let me
Oh, looks like
find
she
out.
stepped out for a second. I guess it's in our
No, it may
hands.
have been like something with YouTube. Let me find out what happened.
Not a
Let me
problem. Oh,
find out.
I go ahead and carry the show. Essentially, uh, I think I can say that I'm fasting from fast food right now, and I already have a fast food uh, kind of something I abstain from already, but
Mm,
that doesn't include the rest of the fast food chains. All right, so I'm trying to abstain from uh, other fast food chains I come in contact with. One for a political reason, Wendy's, with that whole incident with the gentleman that was shot by the police in the Wendy's parking lot for being
oh
drunk.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I've taken it upon myself to not patron their establishments, right? And with my travels and whatnot, I come in contact with this establishment a lot, so I'm abstaining from that. So now that I'm doing that, I'm trying to do the same, try to apply that same thing to other places as well.
Here, remember
So
how we always have to
no,
figure it out with this?
no Arby's, no Wendy's, no McDonald's,
Oh, damn.
no Burger King, and I'm trying to abstain from Carl's Jr., but I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. That Chick-fil-A, that gospel bird, like that's a little hard.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
I've already eliminated them.
Don't play with
Mainly
me about
because I,
Chick-fil-A. Yes, please. All of
if I
that. I had
But
to.
it's
That was
like
very hard. Very
if I
hard.
told you
McDonald's
something
is
about their
easy.
chicken, dude, then yeah, you'd probably abstain too. But
McDonald's
I'm
is easy because it makes me sick to my stomach. Um,
yeah,
What
those
makes you
French
sick to your
fries are not
stomach?
French fries at all.
McDonald's, I can't
Oh,
eat anything
McDonald's.
from
No,
there
I hate
anymore.
it. Let me tell
Mm-mm.
you, I had an impromptu fast with coming from McDonald's. I'm sorry, we were living at the McDonald's before we moved, before we made the move up here. And the kids were all excited. They could go every day. I said, well, I just got to fast. And so that's what actually started my fasting early before it even came, before I even got to Georgia. I did a week of fasting because I was so tired of McDonald's. I wanted to make a special shout out to mom and daughter. Mom and daughter, if you are still in the room, you are everything. You are the business. Mom and daughter has single-handedly committed to helping me get to my 1,000 subscribers. She told me, Courtney, I love you. I'm going to help you. And every time I'm on her channel, she always, always shows love. She plays my videos. I really appreciate it, mom and daughter. She is our good friend, our angel from Thailand, mom and daughter. Thank you so much for joining us. Absolutely. And let's see these glowers. You guys, if you wanted to come and join this panel, or if you wanted to drop in the chat, please. What is something you're committing to fasting from, and what is something you're committing to doing? Put those up in the chat room right now. I am going to put mine down. I heard Hopi, hey, having that put a want to in my spirit. Amen. We're going to keep that. Thank you. Thank you.
I got some pages to read tonight for my class. So
Amen. I am doing that. Like I said, y'all, I'm in that prayer closet, and I'm working out immediately after that prayer closet. Okay, so Mama Maxine says she is fasting from laziness and fasting from that laziness and fasting from that. So what are you gonna do, Miss Ma'am, to make sure that you are, let's accountability partner up, y'all. So I have been personally, but I kind of was always already doing that, but I'm making more of a commitment that in the mornings I am reaching out to Hope, because I know, just to give her more encouragement, because the school year has started again. So I'm not being selfish and just saying I'm using her for my accountability for getting in this closet, but also just to give her a little light, a little glow in the morning. See how she's doing in the morning.
This virtual is something, especially with special needs children.
I can imagine, Hopi. I can imagine. Oh, I love that. Mama says she writes everything that she wants to do in her planner. I keep a journal as well. You guys, we're going to have a special show on journaling. Put a glow up.
I want to get better with that. That has always been hard for me.
We're going to do that. Send me an email, guys, if you want to have a special private stream about glowing. Journaling. I'm writing and I'm typing at the same time. About journaling.
Difficult.
I love to do it. Y'all don't even know. I'm about to pay, literally. Don't get it twisted. And if you want to contribute to my fund, you can. But I'm about to pay almost $1,000 to have my journal shipped up from Miami, because they're in a big crate. And I just got to get them moved out and get them up here. But they're in a big, I put them on like this big trunk. And so I got to have them shipped up. And it's almost $1,000 to do it. Donald Trump said these posts have been robbing people for years. That's what he said. That's what he shut them down. But they I'm serious. It's almost $1,000 to have that thing shipped up. It's cheaper to rent a car and drive down, but y'all know I don't drive. So I got to do what I got to do, but my journals got to get up here. because a mama
Yeah,
cannot not. I don't go on without those journals, and you can always, as I do. I've now filled up about 2 journals since I've been here. I'm about to finish out my second one, but I like to have all of my journals that I've written, and so literally for the past 6 years, I've gotten all of my journals, and they're in a storage still in Miami, and I need them up here. I gotta have them back in my house. So we're gonna Miss Mama Maxine is going to commit to journaling. So make sure, guys, if you want to do a special journal, like a private journal chat, please please go ahead and send me an email. Slarty Daisy says, I have 4 journals with prompts. They help. They sure do. They sure do. That's what I take into the prayer closet with me. That's what I take into the prayer closet with me. I take my journal in, and I take my Bible in, of course, and my pens and my notepads are already in there, and my candles are already in there. And honey, I get in there thinking, okay, I'm gonna barely make an hour this morning. And God has me just, we full out. We're full out in there. I feel like I'm in the middle of a virtual learning session myself when I'm in that closet. Absolutely. I'm scrolling up you all to see who else has committed, what they're committing to. If you're in the room, please let us know what you're fasting from and what you're committing to. What you're committing to in this glow up season of September. We getting
there's a
snatchy.
there's a fasting that I've dedicated myself to. Not
What's
listening
that?
to anything that comes from that Cheeto monster's mouth.
Oh, Donald Trump.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
It,
Okay.
it,
Well, he said that the post office has been robbing people. That's why he had to put a clamp down on this. They've been robbing people for years.
it
This is what he
that's
vexes my
said.
soul.
garbage.
This is what he said.
It vexes my soul. It's like I can't.
Yeah,
And
I
for a
put
while,
a
I'm
piece
like,
of
no.
mail in. And you guys also try this. If you can't journal, write somebody a letter. Let me tell you guys,
Uh,
that still
Who does
does appeal to
that?
people. That still appeals to people. And if you want to start with me, I'll send you my physical address. We can be pen pals. I put a piece of mail in the box every day. Every day. That's my commitment. And
Oh, that is a good idea.
once a day, there is something very powerful about words on paper. There is something very powerful about words on paper. Those are your petitions,
that's
it said
called a
that you,
spell.
okay, brother Neil, tell us about that. Because yeah, they say in scripture, make your petitions unto God. Make your petitions, and ever since I was a little girl, I loved writing, and even when email started, as you know, Hope, my ex husband and I, we were long
That's
distance,
kind of a it's a
so
sensitive topic.
writing is
I
part of it.
mean, I
Oh,
don't understand if
I'm
there's Christians
sorry.
in the
I
room.
don't mean to interrupt you, but I have to go.
But
Unfortunately,
Okay,
there's
I
yes,
gotta go. I gotta
Opie,
go
you
there's
were
a
because I
definitely
get.
be missed.
I
We
gotta
love
do this
you.
reading because I got a paper due on Sunday. So,
Okay, very good. And Hopi, I am gonna still email you over that dream, even though, like I said, I know exactly what it
okay.
was. I'm still gonna email you, but thank you so much for coming on today. And everybody, put a glower up from Hope before she
Bye,
leaves. I'm putting the
everybody.
glowers up.
Oh,
Yes,
shameless plug for me.
yes,
So
please.
if you have children and um, you know, and they like reading, just to let you know, on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays on Facebook Live at 6 p.m. It's on Facebook, it's on YouTube Live, and on Periscope. I have Miss Hope's Reading Hour. So basically, for an hour, I'm reading books to children. There's a book that basically is for like baby kindergarten to second grade, then a book for third to fifth grade, and then reading excerpts from a chapter book for fifth grade and up. So if you have children and you want them to come in and listen to some stories, especially now that we changed to um, our school time of 6 p.m., just to get them relaxed before it's time for bed, they can listen to some great stories with me on Miss Hope's Reading Hour. On it's a Facebook group because of course I made it so that adults can't get in. They see other adult content as something just for them. I actually have a lot of adults who look forward to the reading hour, as a matter of fact. So it's a Facebook group on Facebook, on Instagram. It's a Instagram page just for that. Um, and then there's YouTube and Periscope, Miss Hope's Reading Hour.
Nice.
Absolutely. Miss Hope, Madam Hopi, I thank you so much, sister. Always being a light, always putting your glower up. And just you bring so much value. You bring so much
Thank
value to
you so
conversation.
much.
I love them. I love it just as now as you were then. Thank you so much for being a light, being a glower, and just
Thank you for allowing me to be on today. Thank you so
sharing
much.
your glow. Sharing your glow. No, you are more than welcome. The pleasure is all ours. Absolutely. There she glows, y'all. That's
All right,
Hope.
bye, y'all. To my
Bye bye now.
reading. See ya.
Baby. So what were you saying, Brother Neo? What were you saying about when we were last leaving off about spells? I wanted to hear more about this.
Oh, right. From my research, there are some similarities between what you guys were talking about with writing your words, writing them
Mm-hmm.
down, and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when you're making your reliquary, right, or when you're making your like the Catholic cross that they use in their churches, there's pieces of paper that are put into these things, and their prayers, their psalms, and things of that nature, and you put those into the cross with your salts and your all your other spiritual things, right? And then if you are enslaved or an enslaved person, right? We're talking about back when slavery was the thing that we were bound by. You also had these jars. The thing is that you would be making a kind of a low budget, well, no budget at all, seeing as you didn't have a budget in the first place. You're making a mock reliquary for your prayers, right?
Hmm.
But they call it a honey jar.
You know what? Let me tell you what's so funny about, well, not funny, but ironic and on point about what you're saying. So at the top of my prayer closet is a blessings jar, and I'm working on a book right now, which is basically it's a journal. It's a leader because, like I said, anybody that knows me knows that I'm a writer by nature. I'm a writer and a writer. Write that down, people. I'm a writer and a writer. I have always been a passenger. I ain't a driver. I'm a writer and a writer. I don't drive nobody. I'm a supporter.
Work.
But, but I'm writing a book now, and I'm doing some research, and that is what the premise of my research is that the reading was not as important during times that we were prisoners of war, because that's what we were as slaves. We were prisoners of war.
Shaded that. Yep.
We when we were prisoners, it wasn't the reading that they were concerned with. It was the fact that the writing, because if we could write, we could write our way out of write our way out of the situation. And because many people, once they could write, they knew how to write those passes, the passes that could say, you could be off, or you're supposed to be visiting this other plantation. So it was the power of writing. Of course, they go hand in hand, but it was the power
Right.
of writing that
We
was.
have to. I think as well as that research, a
Yes.
deeper dive into the research itself. A lot of what we what quote unquote call slaves, right? Our ancestors, our forefathers, our foremothers. It wasn't the fact that they couldn't read or write. It was illegal for them to read or write. First off.
Yes.
Second,
Yes.
we're talking about the English language, right? It took a little more time for them to be able to read and write in English, if you will. They already had their own languages that most of them spoke and wrote, right? Some of them were proficient in Arabic, before they actually were enslaved. These were educated people snatched away from their homes, right? And
Absolutely.
they had their own writing systems that were millennia older, not just thousands of
Mm.
years older, but were way older systems. And there's evidence of this when you start researching some of the routes that were taken during oh, what I'm thinking here is the Underground Railroad. There were markings
Hmm.
left on most of these trails of writings, right? Kind of like these hieroglyphs, if you will, left behind by the slaves that were trying to escape to either the north or the south. There's a lot
Yeah.
more that were escaping to the south than there were for them to the north. Right? Like
Right.
John Horse would be an example of that. But um, there were writing systems that were there, and there's evidence of that in all types of different places. And I think it would be awesome to look into some of these systems that made it over. There's a lot of historians that I follow that actually have talked about this, which brought it to my knowledge, so I can actually go and study it and research it too.
Yeah, I do think that to your point, I think that writing in itself is becoming it's not it's a lost art form, but it's definitely more appreciated by people outside of the US. Being able to write well, and when I say being able to write well, being able to put into sentences complete, syntaxes, presence, tense, agreements. These are things that are very much looked upon as common sense, but it is not something that's done very common correctly. And so
Right.
it's an art form. It's an art form, definitely. Let's see who we have because we're closing out. Let me see who we have. Jen J, I want to welcome you. I know this is towards the end, but you're going to love the playback. It is going to be fantastic. I want to give a special shout out to my brother in sight, my brother in media, brother Neo. Mr. Millennial, y'all know that he's been rocking with us for a few weeks now since our political conversation, and he has joined the MX Media Group with such a great, articulate, and able to be eloquent with anything that he's communicating, bringing that to content that is so great, and we're going to be looking forward to his channel coming up. Um, we want to also give a shout out to Miss Hopi. That was also one of our guest panelists today. Miss Hope, make sure that you do check into Miss Hope's reading hour. We want to give again another shout out to Brother Guy, Brother CK Screen Learning, who you guys please realize that this is a network. This is a group. We're all supporting one another. So trust me, we are working as a team to help build each other up. So do not be surprised if that I am allowing people to drop their links on the channel. We're supporting that. We're supporting one another. So we want to realize that support shouldn't be odd when we're doing it. But I understand that some people are just, they're very much concerned about someone not getting shine away from me because it's my platform. But I said, like I will say and continue to say, that somebody else shining does not block mine. So we can only glow up together. Brother Guy, I want to thank you for stopping by today. Miss Cinnamon C, Miss Swarthy Daisy, Mama Maxine. How can I forget that with the Christmas trees that you're always throwing up there to light up? And I think I got everybody. That, Stars and Stripes. Thank you. I'm scrolling up. Y'all, I can only go but so far because this was a little longer of a show. But I thank you all so much for participating in F-Bomb Friday. Y'all know what to do. Now, next time, Mom and Daughter's still there. Hello, my good friend. Tomorrow is our State of the Melanin address. Guys, please make sure that if you have topics that you want to address, make sure that you check in early because we're expected for there to be a full agenda. I take the state of melanin address very seriously. It is not for gossip. It's not for fodder. It's about us seriously addressing issues that are facing major concern for melanated people. And if you're coming in looking at what's the latest thing going on with Joe Button and Tahiri, or you're looking for the latest thing going on with Tim Norman, or even Jack Warright, but that's not going to be the place for you tomorrow. Serious people only need apply, submit, and attend the State of the Melanin Address tomorrow, Saturday morning at 11:30. Be there. Neo, any last thoughts from you, brother? Neo, still there? No? Okay. Well, you guys know
Oh,
what to
I'm
do.
still here. I'm sorry, I had my mic on mute.
Okay.
uh,
Any last thoughts from you? Yeah.
no, nothing really that important. Just want to make sure that everybody has a powerful, blessed day.
Absolutely. And until next time, y'all know what to do. Brother Neo, say it with me.
Glow up.
Glow up. Yes. Love it. Until next time, y'all. Peace.